Yo, Devy Junkies, Brandon here from the Devy Deep Dive podcast and the creator of the Devy Dashboard. Here on every Tuesday night here on my YouTube channel. This is the Devy Huddle. Welcome. I'm here with my crew, man. I got Dan Miner, man. You're like a staple on this. You and Sam are staples.
Been here every week.
I know you have. I love it, guys. Sal, you joined us last week. We had you back.
Yep.
I have to say, man, I loved your insight on stuff last week. So you are welcome anytime to join the huddle, man. So I just love, this show's all just about
it and being here. So it's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's awesome,
great
man.
Guys too. All you guys are great. So
I appreciate that. But
right back
we're just here talking, just casually about Devy. Really excited. Every week we're going to talk about a 2025 running back. This week, I think next week I'll go to a wide receiver because I've kind of loaded up on the running backs here. But we're going to take a look at Jaydon Blue. Today he's a 2025 running back commit going to Texas, guy who's been getting some buzz on Twitter. So we're going to dig into his film. We're going to talk about our stock up, stock down players, maybe talk about, who we like going forward. And then I kind of challenged the crew here tonight to maybe talk about the 2022 season next year and maybe get a little deeper with, talking about some players that we think, vacated production is a buzzword in the off season that a lot of us talk about, which is something that you should look at for potential increase in production players as you head into next year. So, the trading deadlines are pretty much over in college fantasy football. Obviously, we are in, playoff season. So I want to ask the crew here, man. I mean, I'm in all my Devy leagues, and you guys know I'm trying to scale back in my leagues. It sounds like pregame talk, and you guys are all going in the opposite direction, adding leagues. I'm just in a different place with everything going on in my life. But anyway, I made the playoffs in one of my C2C leagues. So tell me, gentlemen, I'm hoping you made more playoff teams than I did.
I had one of those weird years because I'm in the one with the program with the Campus Canton guys. And it's weird because I want to say out of all three conferences, I scored the most points, but I finished fourth in my division.
Yeah.
The first round. It's just bad luck. Great teams, great conference. Conference 3. But
Conference 3.
Yeah. But it's just, you win, you blow out big teams, and then you lose like by 1 or 2 points, 5 points here and there.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I actually, I'm in that league as well, and I lost 2 matchups unless less than 10 points, and that could make all the difference of the world. Sam, how many tell me you made more than one, please.
Well, I'm in 2 C2C leagues. I did make 2 playoffs, so that's a good thing. The thing is, the leagues I'm in, I'm not going to say that they're like easy competition, but they're not. Some of them are guys that are pretty new to the Devy scene, college football season. So it's not. I was like kind of expecting to make playoffs as long as I didn't have any like crazy misses or
injuries.
Like so,
right.
Yeah, I'm 2 for 2.
That's it. So what you're telling us, you're taking advantage of the new guys? I mean, is that what's going on? So
exactly.
Hey, there's no better way to learn. No better way to learn. Dive in and do your thing, man.
That's why I'm really excited for that Fanatics League we were talking about on the
Yeah,
absolutely.
That'll be some good competition.
Dan, you joined in that Fanatics League with Rich and everything, right?
I did, yes. I'm looking forward to that one because so this is my first year doing C2C. It hasn't really gone the way I hoped, to be honest. So my definitely not in the playoffs on the college side, man. My team's a shit show. Because I sold assets for the NFL side, man. I really thought I had a roster built to compete, to win it all, and things just haven't worked out for me in that side either. So unlikely to make the playoffs on either side, unfortunately. I do have a roster on the NFL side that's still full of a lot of upside young talent. So there's the potential to, kind of shift my focus and figure out what direction I want to go for next year. But trial by fire, right?
That's it, man. And so much of this is luck. I say that all the time, whether people want to believe it or not. It's the truth. Well, good luck to you guys in all your playoffs and stuff. But I want to talk about, Spencer Rattler got put into that game this past week. And, I think, Williams hurt his hand and he kind of went back in. So I just wanted to kind of rebirth that because it's a question I've gotten a couple emails from my, podcast listeners, like what to do with Spencer Rattler. Right. And I think we talked about it briefly, but I just wanted to go back to that again because do you guys think he's a hold or a sell at this point? If you have him, are you like, if someone made you an offer, would you sell him, or do you still believe there's hope?
I don't believe that there's hope, but you can't sell him now because you're getting pennies on the dollar. Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of have to hold him. Unless a ridiculous offer comes. I mean, and your hope is he transfers somewhere where he can do something and salvage his career and turn into something. It could happen.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Probably not, but it could.
Yeah, value is the lowest it's ever been. So I pretty much agree. It's tough to sell him. Obviously, it depends what you get. Like I don't know what's a package you would take if someone offers you guys a second round Devy pick. Are you taking that over Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends if it's a startup or a supplemental draft, but I think he could be a sneaky buy, man. I mean, I think this is a humbling time for him. I mean, he's got I'm not going to go out and actively buy him, right? But let's say you're a believer, like Katie Flowers on the dashboard. I know she's still a believer. She still believes that there's a chance that he goes to another team. This is a humbling experience for him. He buckles down and goes someplace, and, he could surprise and do really well next year. We talked about the intangibles before of the kind of player that he is. He has to work on that, but I think it's a very interesting storyline going into next year, given how many few quarterbacks, have his physical skills. It should be really interesting. So another exciting piece of news this week. Everyone's excited. It looks like Dart's going to make his first start against UCLA. Raise your hands. Did anyone here have shares of Dart? I have a couple.
No,
I don't.
Oh yeah. Boy. Oh boy.
I'll be buying in the off season though.
I was a Slovis guy myself, so I do not have shares of Dart.
Unfortunately, I too. Big mistake.
I was not a Slovis guy, but no shares of Dart.
This should have happened a long time ago. This playing both of them in a half, and one drive this guy, one drive Dart, one drive Slovis. That's never worked in the NFL.
Yeah,
or
right.
in college.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Either.
What do you think they do next year? Slovis is not going to, I don't think, go to the NFL. I think he's going to return for his senior year, right? So do you think that muddies the water for Dart? What is your guys' best guess as to what if he doesn't transfer? I can't imagine Slovis transferring, but maybe he does if Dart really plays well the last two games. And
who's the coach next year? We'll see. And then
that's true.
And then I'm a firm believer that when you get somebody in there, that's your guy. You can't do this like what they're doing to Tua on the NFL side. I know if you're injured, it's one thing, but you can't be switching and doing all this. There's no confidence. It's quarterback's tricky. You can't be doing that. I say Dart all year and tell Slovis up front, you can do this. If you don't like it,
Yeah, I would agree. I would tell him that you're going to be the backup. If you don't like it, hit the portal. But
because they have they have a Miller Moss and they have another guy coming in this year too. So it would be a problem to get quarterbacks at USC. People want to go to USC.
Yeah. I think Jackson Dart, he showed enough this year. I know we were all pretty excited about his first start. Last month, 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, and he had the injury, and again they're playing this quarterback, musical chairs game that just doesn't. you can't get into a rhythm that way. So I'd love to see what Dart can do. I think he's the future there, the guy at least for the next couple of years. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on the Spencer Rattler thing. I didn't get a chance to jump in there. For me as a whole, and I think the main thing with Rattler is he's not only is he having to improve on his game. There are deficiencies that came through this year that he's going to have to improve on, but he's got to rebuild his brand as well, because I think
without a doubt,
in the court of public opinion, you are guilty until proven otherwise, right? And in public opinion right now, that's kind of people look at him as kind of a jackass. So he's got to rebuild that a little bit. Yeah.
Any other news you guys can think of that's worth talking about? It looks like here, I just threw this on here on the show sheet that, Justin Ross is hurt again. Joe Nagata, we're going to talk about a player later that I selected as a player next year that we should keep an eye on, but it looks like pretty much all the Clemson wide receivers are hurt. Joe Nagata's out. Ladson's out. It's not a good showing down there.
Ross, because they were saying, coach was saying, Dabo was saying something like all year. So if it's all year, why did he come back? It's almost like he should have just took the time. It's 2 years he wouldn't, but why come back at 60, 70 or whatever percent?
Yeah.
You know, and especially if you do come back and you see how DJU started the year and not much happening, at some point, you know, why wait until week 10 or week 11 to say that's it? And I mean, he could have did this in week 4 or 5 and got ready for the draft. Now he has all this bad year, and then he's going to head into the draft. He might even have to come back if he's going to play.
I think he comes back. I think he comes back for sure.
I don't think he can go to the draft this year and get any kind of good draft capital.
And so what does that do to all the freshmen? I know you're going to talk about them, but they have so many freshmen and sophomore receivers at Clemson. You know, like, I don't know what that's going to do. Is that going to kind of stunt them? Is it going to be DJU next year? I mean, I assume it's going to be DJU. Why wouldn't it be? But
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of question marks in Clemson, and I think it's you know, I don't think it's going to be the Clemson for the next few years that we've been used to for the Clemson for the past few years. I think there could be a changing of the guard there in the ACC. So let's get to our stock watch segment.
Should probably also mention Bijan being out. Curious if you guys think he plays next year.
I think everyone's hoping that he doesn't. I mean, and I'm just personally not into that. I'll tell you, we're going to talk about Jaydon Blue. He sat out his senior year at high school. There's a lot of coaches out there that have a very negative view of that. You know, now that might not roll with the NFL because they want fresher legs and less, you know, wear and tear. I get it, you know, because you beat them to death for 4 or 5 years, and I get that. I don't know. I just would hate to see a trend where all of these players are just starting to take off their senior seasons. And we talked about that, I think, at length. And we don't need to get into that. But him specifically, I wouldn't be surprised because he's the top running back, you know, in the 2023 class at this point. I mean, what do you got to lose by doing it? If the NFL draft community says, oh, you're going to be a first round draft, early day 2 pick. I mean, why take a chance and why not just, you know, train? So
it's very unlikely, even in a loaded class like the 2023 running back class, that anybody overtakes him as the first running back, regardless of what he does. So I mean, it's, you know, he holds all the cards.
Right. And, you know, we're going to talk about Jaden Blue, right? I mean, I think his opportunity hinges on that decision as well, right? If Robinson comes back. So I think, you know, we'll talk about that when we get to his film. So, it should be interesting, man. These are all the great storylines that, you know, we'll be chewing on all off season, and I'm sure he'll make it known what his intention is, you know, at some point. Sean Tucker, 2023 running back, Alberto says here. Love it. We got a comment. Yes, we got a comment. So, all right, let's get to our.
Doing awesome.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Who knows? 2023 is a long time away, right? So who knows what's going to happen? So my stock watch segment player, you know, this is one of my favorite segments of the show. A guy that kind of played really well this week, Kobe Hudson. He's a wide receiver from Auburn. I know we don't like to get too excited with Auburn receivers. Seth Williams has been a massive disappointment. Anthony Schwartz on the Cleveland Browns. I get it. He hasn't produced, but, you know, we're going to look at individual traits and stuff. This kid was a 4-star prospect in the 2020 class. He was ranked 19th wide receiver in that class. You know, last year he was a freshman. He's a sophomore this year. Last year was a freshman, obviously overshadowed with, you know, Williams and Schwartz and the horrible play by Bo Nix. It didn't do him any favors. But this year he's breaking out a little bit. This week he played Mississippi State, had 8 receptions, 107 yards, had a touchdown, had a great one-handed grab in the back of the end zone. In fact, in this game like this past week, he had, you know, 2 one-handed grabs, and his film looked pretty good. I mean, through the year, he's got 37 receptions, 490 yards, 2 TDs. You know, and someone's going to have to emerge there. I'm making the assumption that Bo Nix comes back for his senior year. I think Bo Nix has played a little better than he has in the past. I think he, you know, is never going to be this prolific passer, putting up huge yards and huge touchdowns and big numbers, I think. But I believe that this year, you know, he has produced, and really there's nowhere else. Demetrius Robinson is a wide receiver. I believe he's a senior. He's not eligible to return, if I'm correct on that. And they've got some other guys that just, you know, have not really emerged much. But Kobe Hudson, have you guys, you know, been able to see any of that game or see? I put a film out on Twitter on him today.
I didn't have a chance to check it out yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't.
So I don't know. I'm excited about him. I think he, you know, again, trying to maybe go deeper in the segment instead of talking about the guys that we all know about, you know, trying to come up with some good names. That's what I always like to do. But Kobe Hudson's a guy, you know, he's 6'1", 199 pounds, good size, good frame. He looks like he's got some athleticism out there. Had some decent yak ability, making a few guys miss in the open field. So he is my stock up player for the week. And like I said, I think Bo Nix is going to come back for his senior year. I think he's going to play a little better. So I think he's going to be, the number one receiver on that team next year.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Sal?
No, I totally agree. I mean, Bo Nix, the bar was really low, but he's actually not been horrible. I mean, that's actually an improvement from what he has been. So
yeah, I've always felt bad for Bo Nix. He came in with such pressure with his father and starting as a freshman and, all that in his mind. And, maybe it's just taking him a lot longer to settle in and regain his confidence. But next year, maybe he'll surprise us and, doubt he gets any kind of draft capital. But I'd love to see him just finish out his career at Auburn with like a great year, maybe, have his best season yet. I always root for those players. So, Dan, who do you got? Who was your stock up, stock down player?
Yeah, I'm going to go stock up. And this is a guy I'm really excited about. So last week, I talked about one Arizona State running back and DeMonte Trainum as a stock down. And this week, I'm talking about stock up on Rashad White. So there really are a lot of things that I like about Rashad White. And the more I dive into him, the more excited I get about this guy. So to start with the production, right? He was a JUCO transfer. Last year, he flashed. It was a limited season, right? COVID shortened season. He still put up good statistics based on what he was doing, right? He was splitting time with Trainum, had a pretty high yard per carry, I believe. This year, though, man, especially lately, he is just, it's not like I thought we were coming in thinking it was going to be a split backfield, right? Is he going to be the 1A? Is he going to be the 1B? Well, he is the one, period. And he's taken that backfield completely over. Trainum's getting scraps, and he's produced 869 rushing yards. He has 14 TDs, 34 catches on top of that, which is really impressive to me. And, look, the numbers don't even tell the full story. I've had the chance to watch, several Arizona State games this year because, well, I had Jaden Daniels on my C2C team. So I kept hoping that something was going to happen. So I made it a point to watch a lot of those games. And who I kept, the guy that kept catching my eye the entire time was Rashad White. There was a play a couple of weeks ago. I think I put it out on Twitter where he broke I think he broke 9 tackles on that run and just showing he has great elusiveness, right? The contact balance is there. He has the vision. And most importantly, man, he has that pass catching ability. Another tweet I put out was, he went out for, I want to say it was a post route. It may have been a go route, but he, the sideline catch, got both feet in. I mean, that shit was impressive.
Yeah,
right?
It was.
For a wide receiver. I mean, a running back to be making that catch like a wide receiver. That's just, I was blown away. So look, if he I hope he goes to the Senior Bowl. If he goes to the Senior Bowl, he has a good week. I think it's going to improve his stock even more. I think he's a guy on the rise, and if he has a good Senior Bowl week at Mobile, he tests well at the combine. I can easily see a scenario where this guy gets day 2 draft capital. And not only that, but the skills that he possesses are translatable skills to our fantasy teams. That pass catching ability is going to set him apart. If he goes to the right offense, watch out. So I am all aboard the Rashad White hype train.
Yeah, and he's got the size too.
He does.
So he's got that good build and the big lower half and all that. So I love it. Good pick there. So
nice.
Sam, your guy blew up this week, man. I mean, this is the game everybody was waiting for this week.
Yeah, well, I do want to say I'm totally with you, Dan. Rashad's a stud. I agree. Day 2 is very much in range if he keeps it up. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about freshman RB Devin Neal, 3-star. A couple of people liked him more than you would like a typical 3-star because he was coming in with an immediate opportunity in the backfield, and he's taking advantage of that. He's gotten a lot of work. He totally blew up, as you mentioned, against Texas, had 4 touchdowns in the game. One of the biggest upsets in the college football season, and it was mainly because of him. I mean, he ran all over them. He looked great. I mean, I was watching the game. I saw good patience. I saw burst. Really decisive runner, especially for a freshman running back. Like a lot of guys you will see, like they're a little hesitant at times, not making the right decisions all the time because they're still, adjusting to the offense. But he was go. Very decisive, hitting the hole immediately. Rarely saw him lose yardage, if at all. Had a couple other good games too. A couple weeks ago against Oklahoma, he had a couple touchdowns and 100 yards. the guy's been impressive. He's still got a lot to show, still just a freshman, only seen 6 receptions from him on the year, but he's already got solid size, listed at 5'11", 208. So, by the time he goes to the draft, he'll definitely be NFL size. And I like what I see on tape. And he's, as I mentioned, against Oklahoma and against Texas, big performances against big teams, really helped him get a big upset. So liking what I'm seeing from Devin Neal, and I think he will definitely be a riser next year.
I like it. Sal, you're coming with us with 2 names. I'm loving it.
But 2.
Oh, man.
I have to do 2. Yeah. So, but when you talk about deep, I'm going a little deep. I have to give out to Felix Sharp out there, because he was the one who kind of pointed me out in that direction. Those Texas Tech guys. I know Texas Tech had kind of big hopes at the beginning of the year with Tyler Slaw was quarterbacking, and then he got hurt, and Henry Colombi came in, and he didn't do much either. But I saw that game against Iowa State, and Donovan Smith, that guy, he looked pretty good. Iowa State's a decent team, and he did okay in the second half against Oklahoma the week before when he came in. Redshirt freshman. He actually came in a few games earlier in the year where he actually had some goal line carries and trucked a linebacker and got a touchdown. He's like 6'5", 230 pounds. He's a big boy. So he came on against Iowa State, 25 for 32, 322, and 3 touchdowns, had 50 yards rushing. He threw an interception, but that kind of bounced off the receiver's hands and popped up into one of the defenders. Texas Tech, I think he has a shot to start next year. This win got them to 6 wins, so they're going to be in a bowl game. They have 2 tough games next against Oklahoma State and Baylor. But I think these next 2 weeks is going to be kind of just just to see how he does over the next 2 weeks. So this is probably more of a C2C guy you're thinking about now later in drafts, because if he does good those next 2 weeks and then possibly plays in the bowl game, I don't think Tyler's coming back. I know he just transferred there, but if he does good enough, why would you start Tyler again if you got this redshirt freshman? And he seemed to connect good with Miles Price. Oh, and also Donovan Smith he's the son of the RB coach, DeAndre Smith. That's his dad. The Texas Tech RB coach is his dad. So I don't know if that has any kind of play in anything, him, maybe getting a shot too. Miles Price is the other guy, a sophomore receiver, 5'8", 5'10", 180. He had 9 for 175. It was like 4th and 6 in that game, and he caught a 39-yard touchdown. He caught a big 28-yard catch on the sidelines where he got a big hit and held onto the ball. I'm guessing Eric. I'm always going to mess up that name.
Don't worry, we know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's a junior. He's had a decent year, not as good as probably in years past. Got a lot of injuries, but he might be coming out. So if you're looking at vacated production, Miles Price could step into that role. He's a sophomore. With these 2 guys, Donovan Smith and Miles Price, a lot of it is just going to depend on how they do against. It's big test. Oklahoma State, they're AP ranked number 9. Baylor, AP ranked number 11. If you do decent in those games and, play well in the bowl game, why wouldn't they start? I don't see Tyler coming back. And if Eric decides to go pro, and he does have some decent draft capital, Miles Price could be the number 1 there.
Yeah, I like it. Tyler Shock, another, QB that bit the dust.
Yeah. And he did well in Oregon. It just hasn't.
Yeah, he didn't look good. There's, the QB game is a risky one.
Yes.
But like you said, the expectation here isn't like he's an NFL asset. You're looking at more like a C2C, guy that's going to produce on the ground, and which is great. So,
that's
without a doubt.
For these guys, more of a C2C guy, both of them.
All right, so who's ready to watch some Jaydon Blue film here?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right. So let's see. Here we go. I got my stuff here. All right. So here we go. We're going to start with his recruiting profile. All right. So he is ranked the 14th running back as of right now in the composite. Looks like 24/7. He's got him number 4, for 24/7 Sports, 5'11", 205. He's got that good size. Looks like he's obviously committed to Texas, but Bama was interested in him, which is always a good thing to have, Alabama interested in your services.
He got a ton of offers. Like if you go through the whole list, he has every big school, Ohio State, Michigan, all of them.
Yeah, 30 offers. Yeah.
Right. So, as we talked about I don't know if we talked about it at the beginning of this show or, on air or whatever, but, he decided to opt out for his senior year. And like I did a little research talking about, this guy today. And, there was a lot of coaches that were very not happy with his thought process of sitting out for his senior year. In fact, there were some coaches out in the college ranks that were saying that there would be a huge red flag for them. But nonetheless, looking at his stats, through to his sophomore and junior year, he basically had 432 carries for 3,800 yards, 8.7 yards average. Loving that long 100, plus games. He had 10 of them his junior year. But his receiving stats, looks like he was involved in the receiving game, and we're going to see that when we look at his film here today, that he was definitely involved in the receiving game. But down here, I was very interested. He had a couple fumbles lost. He had 6 fumbles as a sophomore down here on the bottom.
Ouch.
Down here. And he had 2 fumbles as a junior. So something that we might want to just kind of, obviously keep an eye on a little bit, as he goes into the season. So like we said, we're going to go through these traits. The first one, we're going to do vision and patience. All right. We're going to run through the film. I love this little stutter stuff, the patience and his vision. Whoops. We kind of, let the whole form a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of took off, and then
Nice
just gaping the holes here.
Yeah.
It's a nice job finding that hole.
But he got hooked. He got did you see that? A little bit of that long speed. We talked about that last week, remember?
Yeah.
So where he gets caught up here. I don't know what kind of long. I mean, just one as we watch this film, he's got some good speed, but I'm not sure he is a burner when he gets into the open field.
He kind of looks more like a glider to me. I have a little bit of some questions about his long speed just watching the film, but
he's definitely not a burner. He did run a 10.7 100 though, which is very solid.
Saw that.
Yeah,
that's good. Nice vision though.
Oh yeah.
It's a nice job staying in. That did not look easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a beautiful cutback.
That is very pretty.
Yeah, see, again, he rushes the hole. He could have had a little bit more patience there, just kind of, but I'd like how he pressed the hole, laterally cut over, then makes the other guy miss, cuts back inside, and then makes another cut on the inside. You can see that he's actually looking inside to make the cut, and pretty easy.
Yeah, he really sees the field well.
And it's good competition that he's playing against. It's not like scrubs. I mean, it's Texas, so.
Right.
Seeing those cutback lanes, you don't see that a lot from young guys.
Yeah. When I was watching the video, it looks almost like sometimes when he's running, it looks almost like effortless.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant by how he has that gliding running style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he makes it look super easy.
Yeah, nice burst there through the second level. Because he didn't go outside there, but he cut back in, made a guy miss there, and then the acceleration.
Yeah, short area quickness is there.
Takes a lot of steps. I don't think he's like a dead leg kind of cut player, as far as I think he definitely has the ability to, definitely cut, but it's not the dead leg, I think.
Right.
He's got a lot of little pitter patter steps making his moves.
Yeah.
If you notice, like on this particular one.
So you're saying he's not a Shanahan type of running back?
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice.
Right. And then he cuts back in. Yeah.
That jump cut is dangerous.
Jump cut is dangerous? Yeah. But I like how he set that defender up. He made him kind of lean to the outside and then, took advantage of him. They, they over pursue.
Yeah.
Right. So, there's the vision and patience and kind of footwork and short area quickness is, kind of hand in hand a little bit.
On that last play real quick, one thing I didn't really love that may have, obviously it didn't in this case, but it may have led to some of the fumbles. When he does that second swim move, he brings his arm up like that, and kind of exposes the football right there.
Yeah, you're like, you know,
careful.
I mean,
his
it should be up in here, you know, instead of it being loosey goosey down here. But that's something he'll have to work on, you know. That's an interesting point, Sam, because he like even in this right here, it's not tight to his body.
No.
Right.
So that's something he's going to have to, you know. So we're just looking at his footwork, his lateral ability.
That's almost all right to me, though, just because, you know, technique is pretty fixable. If he had the right technique and was still fumbling, that'd be maybe a big concern.
Right.
Yeah,
So
his running back coach will work with him on that for sure.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
Right there.
That was a beautiful play. Again, he almost gets tackled from behind right there.
Yeah.
He's killer in open space, though.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got good vision in the second level for sure. Pretty big hole here. Another nice stiff arm.
Yeah, good contact balance.
There he goes.
So he's got the speed on that play.
Yeah, he had a little juice on that one.
Yeah.
I think he's got good lateral movement, like in short quarters, but I don't see like the kind of the, you know, when we watch Branson Robinson and his dead leg ability,
yes,
it's like it doesn't even come close to me. Like what that guy's able to do than here. I mean, he's got some. I mean, Jaden's got some cutting ability, but you know, I'm not. You know, you see, it's always like a one step kind of hitch. It's not like a stop. Like really, see, it's always kind of like a little.
The little super effective though. Like, yeah, you're right. It's not the same dead leg, like big exaggerated movement of Branson, but it's very effective.
He's got some wiggle. He's got wiggle.
He's a little bit more of a dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's got wiggle, but I don't think it is the you know the elite lateral movement. You know, and look, I'm trying to pick apart these kids. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I was talking. Well, I'll tell you afterward a thought that I had. So this is a speed and acceleration, kind of looking at his burst, you know, through the line. That was a good burst through the line. He just shot like a cannon out of there.
Nice.
He's certainly no Nick Singleton, but I don't have concerns about his burst and speed. I think they're both fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll translate.
Singleton, by the way, who we watched last week, I feel like it's worth mentioning that he ran for 300 yards and 7 touchdowns in a playoff game last week.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah.
As a Penn State fan, I love that. So.
Yeah. So he's definitely having guys miss on angles, which is something you look for. You know, guys who like go to tackle him, but take bad angles like that guy there at the end. It's kind of what I look for, like in the second level, is when guys are going to think they have the angle, but they don't.
Right.
But I mean, he's got sufficient long speed. But is he going to get him? Get him? Ah, just got there.
Was that the Oregon Ducks out there? What is up with those uniforms?
I don't know. It looked like them, right?
It does.
It looked like he was hanging with him, but he just couldn't quite get there.
Almost.
Yeah,
almost. Oh, he just bowled that guy over.
Yeah.
Pretty weak tackle attempt, but
yeah. He went high. Kind of
I don't know what's going on with these running backs that are coming out. I mean, they're all like 5'10", 5'11", 205 coming in as freshmen. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're eating their Wheaties.
Crazy.
Yeah. They're on the TB12 diet.
Yeah, must be.
Like how he shed tackles on here, you know, guys were hanging all over him. He's getting nicked up all the way right there. And he kind of, you know, continues to keep his balance.
Stays up.
You know, and he's got the speed in that play.
Cut right between.
I love the way he sets guys up.
Oh, yeah.
The vision is really there.
And no wasted movement too. Like he doesn't lose speed when he makes those cuts. It's very good footwork.
Yeah, this guy looks like he's taking a ballet class or two.
Yeah, like I see, I don't think this cut is necessarily great right here. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that's a cut that, it's kind of like 2 or 3 steps, then he changed direction. Again, I just can't go into these films just thinking like all of these kids are just studs, like I'm trying to find things, because half of them, I don't know if you guys listen to my podcast or not that I just put out this morning. We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like he gets a little bit lazy in his technique on some of these, but when you're that good in high school, I can certainly understand why.
The second level footwork is certainly better than the backfield footwork. I agree on that cut, but with the open field cuts, I was more speaking to that there's no wasted motion. It doesn't.
Yeah, I would agree.
That
was good.
I don't know how he did that last.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That was a big boy going at him right there.
Yeah.
He's got some power to him. I like his pad level right there, and
that's very nice.
Just getting through the muck.
Yeah.
Staying balanced. So he's a pass catcher. We talked about it. Look, it looks like he caught 14 balls or so. You know what I mean? So he looks natural catching the ball. I thought he did a nice job.
Yeah, he does. He has soft hands.
This was a great catch right here.
That was a great catch.
Yeah. Nice little route he ran right there too.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yep. So, I mean, he's going to be a useful portion, going to Texas. Obviously, they throw to their backs. So, he's going to be used in the screen game.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting if Bijan sits out or not, how much work he gets. Because obviously, if Bijan's not playing, he's going to get immediate work.
Yeah, well, they have another back too. Jamorian Miller. He's ranked number 7. So, I mean, he's another back in this class that they have coming in as well. So, as much as, I mean, this guy Blue is getting a lot of hype, out there right now. I mean, I know he's the RB1 of the class for some Devy guys out there. So that's why I kind of wanted to take a look as well, just to see for myself. I mean, what are they seeing that, overall?
Well, he definitely has the pass catching upside, which, in fantasy, you're definitely looking for that.
Right.
He's up there for me. I have a hard time believing that the RB14 ranking isn't really just because of sitting out the senior year. Like, I don't think there's any way there's 10 better backs in the class than this guy. I think he's definitely a top. I mean, I haven't extensively watched a lot of them, but I think he's definitely top 5 guy in the class for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did my podcast today, and I went through the 2025 class, the top, 10 guys, and kind of did a little history lesson on all the hit rates, for the last 4 years. So you can check that out. But I was telling Dan before we went live tonight that, I mean, I watched about a half hour. I dedicated a half hour to each rookie, the top 10 in 24/7 sports, just like watching just what we did there, like every Huddle film, YouTube videos of guys breaking down films. And I was telling Dan, but Jesus Christ, by the end of this past week, it all looked the same to me, so I think I've learned you got to get away from it, because all these guys they all look good. They all have the cutting ability. So to find those diamonds in the rough, I find it difficult. I mean, I'm no professional at this by any means, but, I mean, he certainly looks good, but of all the other guys that I watched, and I watched, a lot of them, he just didn't, I guess, look so great other than the other ones that we were kind of already talking about.
There's just so many highlight plays with these guys, that you just get excited seeing them, that what they're doing against the competition they're playing against. So it is difficult,
but it should be fun, man. It should be fun. So it should be interesting, because, that Jamorian Miller kid didn't look too bad either, so it's like, who's going to get the run?
I haven't seen any. Have you seen any of him? Jamorian?
Yeah, I just said, I watched it. Yeah. I mean, he looked pretty good too. I mean, I don't recall exactly what my film notes were on him, because it's like a blur, all these guys looking at all of it. But, what I'm trying to do is decipher out of the top 10 in my podcasts, like, at least trying to get an early look at these guys. And we're going to look at each one of these top 10 guys, before the NFL draft. I mean, that's the plan of the show. We're going to go through each one of these guys, and we've gone through 3. I'll probably head over to the wide receiver, next week just to do kind of something different. Or if we decide that we want to just kind of keep grinding on the running backs, we can do that too, because it's a little bit more fresh in our minds. But given the hit rates, at least like 30% max on most of these top 10 ranks, it should be interesting to see how it all pans out. So, all right, let's get to the next segment of the show. We're going to, I asked the burning question of the week instead of doing our games. And I asked the guys here, looking ahead to the 2022 season, based on either vacated opportunity or improvement in production overall, what player are you excited about? A player that maybe we should be looking to target now versus, later in the season after the playoffs are over, when the trades are open again and you can start trying to acquire players. And I selected Beau Collins from Clemson. He got a little work this week at Connecticut. I was happy to see that Clemson played some of their younger guys. I think Phil Maffey even got in there, and it was nice. I think a couple quarterbacks got in there. I mean, we all knew this was going to be a blowout. They won 44-7. Ross was out, Nagata was out, Latson was out. All those guys were already out. So we got a good look at Beau Collins and his Dakari Collins too. But Beau Collins, he's a freshman. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a 4-star prospect. He was ranked 12th overall. In this past week, he had only 5 receptions for 40 yards, but the week before that at Louisville, he had 6 receptions for 140, 104 rather. But on the season, he's got 22 carries, or 22 receptions for 241 yards and 2 TDs. I mean, he's a big athletic kid. It's really interesting because Clemson doesn't seem there's a Troy Stellato is his name. He is another recruit from last year who's a little smaller. He's like 6'1", 195. But again, they continue to go after these big-bodied receivers. I'm in the process of making a film. I was actually going to put it on here, but I didn't have time and ran out of time. But I think that, I haven't watched extensive film on him. I will in the off season, so I'm not going to tell you that I did. If I really didn't, I'd never do that. But I'm just looking at it more from an opportunity standpoint. Joe Nagata is just, and Ross is probably going to have to come back, that we were talking about earlier in the show. Frank Latson, I don't know what the hell he's going to do either, but I mean, I think they're all juniors, and are they all going to come back next year? I'm not sure. Some maybe going to hit the transfer portal and get a new opportunity. I don't know, but I'm going to start maybe trying to focus on these two, Beau and Dakari Collins, is guys that maybe, could be the next generation, because I think the class that we have now with Ross and Nagata, I mean, Nagata's just hurt all the time. Latson's hurt all the time. We have EJ Williams, who next year will probably be, a guy who's going to rise and get more. I think is he hurt too? EJ Williams? Do you know? Does anyone know?
Yeah, I think he came back recently, but he has been hurt for most of the year.
Now, I mean, he's a guy last year who really flashed, that everyone was excited about. EJ Williams was a guy that, was starting to show a little flash. So, Clemson has a history of producing receivers. Justin Ross was going to be a number 1 pick his freshman year. It just hasn't panned out. The QB situation is going to be huge. I know they got an incoming freshman. I think Klubenik is his name. I'm not exactly sure if that's his last name. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Klubenik.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to give this man another opportunity. And I know that there's that other kid who hurt his Achilles earlier in the year. I don't know if he's got an opportunity, to start at Clemson. So, I mean, their quarterback room right now is looking a little shaky for these guys to really, get the production. But nonetheless, it's a Clemson receiver. He's, a 12th ranked receiver. He's got some skill. He's a big kid, 6'3", 205. He's a guy that I think that, could actually maybe get on the field next year. And I'm really kind of hoping that Ross goes or Nagata goes. I was a Nagata fan. I like Joe Nagata. He just can't stay healthy. And at this point, I don't see any kind of NFL team taking a real shot with him. He'll be probably a really late day 3 guy, maybe an undrafted free agent that, but he's got very little production. Latson has very little production, and Justin Ross with his injury concerns. So I'm going to, go down into the 2024 class and go with Beau Collins and see if, he doesn't produce next year, and hopefully they get back to their winning ways. And he's the explosive player that they need. So, Daniel, who you got, buddy?
Yeah, I'm going to dip into the 2024 class as well and go with a guy that's flying a little bit under the radar right now.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I told you I was always a giver, right?
Yeah, you did.
Remember I told you, like, I'd always have like a surprise for you guys.
Yes, sir. You got something for me?
I got a little something for you. All right.
All right.
So before we show your, I got to get it up here though. Get out. Where are you? All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Love it.
Well, we'll watch. It's about 2 minutes.
Okay. Oh.
Nice cut inside there.
Oh yeah, beautiful cut.
I shouldn't have the volume on. I'm sorry. So.
Oh, that's all right.
So we can now talk about it. You know what I mean? We just see him play here. But I figured I'd throw you a little bone.
Yeah,
I'd throw you a little
love
bone,
it.
Dan. You know, so why don't you talk to us about him? Tell us about your guy while we watch the film. Got another
man.
Minute.
I mean, we're watching the film. You guys can see some of the things I saw when I was watching some of his film. Vacated production, right? That's what we're really talking about. So we got Travis Dye over there. We got CJ Verdell, right? One of those guys. I think they're both juniors. I have a feeling one of those guys, most likely CJ Verdell, is going to go to the NFL this year. And Byron Cardwell, man, he barely played the first half of the season, and he's really just emerged in the last 3 games. So, a couple of games ago, he had 127 yards, a touchdown. The game before that, he had 16 for 55, I think it was. And then this last game that we're watching here, he had 9 for 98 and 2 TDs. So he's really emerged in that backfield, without Verdell, with Verdell down with the injury. Mm-hmm. And I like a lot of what I see. He's kind of, like I said, he's kind of flying under the radar in this 2024 class. We have guys like Travion, Shipley, Braylon Allen's come on. We got, what's the kid? Brandon Thomas. So there's definitely some names, guys that have sort of emerged in that class. But why not Byron Cardwell? I mean, he could really get himself into the mix with those running backs. And I think the opportunity will be there next year, even in a timeshare. Oregon's, they run the ball well. They feed their backs. They usually get 2 guys involved. And look, we just watched the tape. He's got some moves. The cutback ability is there. He's got some tackle breaking ability, speed. He hasn't really shown much as a pass catcher yet, but that could come. He's still young. So yeah, he's an exciting young guy that I think we should be talking about a little bit.
Yeah, and what's great too is he's getting production, even if it's late in games or whatever. So at least there's a little bit of film so you can watch his skill set, right? I mean, that's because a lot of this stuff is based on projection that players that we haven't even seen, except for high school film, but we're still believing in, like an LJ Johnson from Texas A&M, which leads me, right into Sam's player, another Texas A&M player. So go ahead, Sam.
Perfect segue. I do want to, right before I get to my guy, mention someone I've already talked a little bit about that I think is perfect for this segment, which is Logan Diggs, Notre Dame running back. With Kyron gone, I think he's got a great opportunity next year. But I'm going to talk mainly about Devon Achane, running back that has been super efficient behind Isaiah Spiller. Obviously, we know Spiller's 2022 eligible, almost certainly going to declare and go to the draft. Achane's been electric behind him, man. I mean, he's actually gained a lot more touches than I thought he would. He only has 57 less touches than Spiller this year. Despite having that many less touches, he has 2 more touchdowns, and he's averaging almost 2 yards more per touch than Spiller this year. He's definitely undersized. I think he's listed at around 185 or 190. So, got a ways to go as far as bulking up for some NFL upside. But just as far as opportunity next year, I mean, he's going to have the chance to take over that backfield. He's been electric, super efficient. He's got good speed, good burst, solid vision as a runner. He's a pass catcher as well. He's caught, I believe, 24 or 25 passes so far in his career and been efficient with them. And I just think he has all the opportunity in the world next year to produce with Spiller gone. And yeah, I think he's going to be a riser. Again, with the size concern, I don't know how much upside he has from an NFL standpoint. So I don't want to get you guys too excited about him being like the next big thing. But I think he's going to be a big producer next year, be a riser, potentially be a change of pace back at the next level. And especially if you're a C2C guy, I think he's definitely someone to buy because I think he'll put up some big numbers next year.
Well, I think it's just him and LJ Johnson next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Coming out.
There's nobody in the 2025 class that I came across that I think is going to be impeding for carries.
Yeah.
I really like his game, man. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, fun player.
Yeah, he's exciting. Absolutely.
Chippiness. He's good. He is a fun watch. I think that's a good way to put it down.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't have a lot of NFL upside, if you just watch him next year, you'll just have a good time.
I like guys that get me excited when I watch. I was watching him this weekend when I was in Reno on vacation, and yeah, got me pumped a little bit, man. Yeah. I like it.
Absolutely.
All right, Sal, I guess you're going to talk about Desmond Ritter's replacement next year.
I mean, kind of with Cincinnati. I mean, it's kind of with quarterbacks. I mean, it's him. I mean, it's got to be him. I know that Luther Richardson's coming in. But he's not going to be starting. Evan Prater sat for the year. He's gotten into some games late in some blowout games, got some touchdowns, but nothing. He hasn't really played that much. But you kind of go back. Because it's easy to forget, like when you have, especially at the quarterback position, where you're not going to play unless something happens to the main guy. You're going to sit for a year. It's not like a running back or a receiver where you're going to get more time, I would say. I mean, it's not a lot of time, but it's a little bit more. Those quarterbacks, like he was never going to start over Desmond Ridder. But, in college, I mean, in high school, he had Division I offers in basketball. They won the state championship his junior year. He made it all the way to the semis his senior year. In 3 years, he threw for 5,700 yards, 72 touchdowns, ran for 4,100 yards, 73 scores. If you're looking at G5 schools, he's the most talented quarterback prospect to even commit to a group of 5 school. Staying local. He's from Cincinnati area in high school. He's staying in Cincinnati. 24/7 comps him to Kaepernick. So, I mean, we're just going off a high school film, really, for him.
Right.
But that's a lot of, we're talking vacated production. It's not like next year Cincinnati's going to go, they're still going to be a top team. I mean, Ridder threw for, 2,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, about 300 yards rushing, 5 TDs. It's not like they're going to fall off the map. If you're looking, because a lot of these other quarterbacks are going to go pro. Especially Ridder might have some good draft capital. Evan Prater could step right in and, be pretty good. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen much film on him from high school, if you remember.
I haven't.
He hasn't really played much during the year. But I kind of wanted to pick your guys' brains about that too. Because like running backs and receivers, they'll come in and they'll play a little bit more. But like a lot of these freshman quarterbacks, they come in on a high, but then they sit for a year. And they're almost like they're kind of forgotten a little bit. So, what do you guys, but it's not like they've gotten in, they've learned for a year. He waited his turn. I mean, I think he's going to be pretty good next year. I don't know what you guys have any thoughts for Evan Prater.
Well, I think in his situation, there's, playoff talk for Cincinnati, right? So, if he was on a team that had a quarterback that was struggling, we might see a little bit of him. But the fact that they have Ridder, who's a senior, and they've got aspirations of trying to make it to the Final Four.
Well, he's not.
He's never going to get on the field. Unless it's a complete blowout, just so you can get him some reps, right? So It is a leap of faith. That's what makes it so hard. I think it's a great call because he's a senior, Ridder, so he's not coming back. So you have to think that if there's really nobody else, then he's been, looking at the playbook for a year. He's been in the QB room for a year. Why would they go with somebody else unless they get a transfer?
Yeah.
Or,
Rattler.
something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great call. What was he a highly ranked player coming out of 24/7? I don't I don't remember.
4-star dual threat. He's 6'5", 190. I don't remember his exact number, but he was a 4-star.
Okay.
So, I mean, he was good. It was funny because I was thinking about who to choose. I was like, well, with Ohio State, with Wilson and Olave probably leaving, I could pick one of the other receivers, but which one? Alabama, Mechie and Williams, probably they're going to be gone. Which one?
Right.
Mm-hmm. I almost picked, but I would have probably got laughed off the site if I picked Caden Salter over Malik Willis, because with Malik Willis leaving, who knows? I figured it. I was like, I can't pick him.
Yeah,
can't pick him.
No, I like the Evan Prater call, man. I thought about him as well.
I think I like the deeper names anyway, because we already know about all the Ohio State and Alabama wide receivers. I mean, I don't think we need to go down that road. I mean, but so I love the deeper names, and so people who are watching or listening can, be like, oh, okay, there's a name maybe I got to write down, do some research.
Yeah, and I still am holding out hope. I know it's it depends where he winds up. But I hope Harrison Bailey goes to Western Kentucky.
No, don't even get me started. I got so many fucking shares of that guy to tell you right now. I mean, and I'm holding on because he's another guy who's worthless right now. But I'll tell you, you want to talk about a film in high school that got me excited. I mean, he played with Eric Gilbert in high school, and he looked so good, big and tall, big arm, had some mobility, he bowled people over running in the second level. Worked with Peyton Manning, the whole Tennessee thing. I'm like, how can this fucking guy go wrong? And it was an utter disaster. He looked, when I saw him play, the moment was too big for him, so he had all the skill in the world, but like we've always talked about, the jump from high school to college is a big, big jump, and just like college to the NFL is. So I don't know if it hasn't happened yet, man. I don't know. Where the hell is he now? I don't even know. I've lost track of him.
He hasn't transferred.
Oh, is he still there? I thought he went someplace.
No, he hasn't gone I don't think he's gone anywhere yet.
He's just riding the bench.
He's just riding the pine.
They brought Milton, and they got Hendon Hook. I mean, but Tennessee, they're winning. So
yeah,
they are. Yeah, where are you guys at with Desmond Ridder?
Day 2 guy. I mean,
maybe. I try to get excited about him. I really do. I can't quite get there.
I'm not
decent backup at the next level. I mean, the good thing about him is he has a little bit of rushing ability. So if he ever fills in as a backup, you might be able to plug him in as a flyer in a super flex league. But I don't think he's anything more than that.
Do you like him?
I agree.
Willis? I mean, are they even?
No.
Oh, I'd rather have Willis by far.
Because, Willis has got great numbers, but, Massachusetts, some of these games, 3 picks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we're doing that mock drafts right now on the side. And I wound up picking third. I can't remember. Kevin Coleman was picking first or second. And it was Bijan, Trevian Henderson, and I had the third pick. And I was like, crap. I had to pick Matt. I was like, Matt Corral, I guess. Or Sam Howell. Sam Howell was who I picked. Yeah. But I'm just like, so if you're in any mock drafts, you don't want to pick third.
Third is a tough spot right now for sure.
Yeah.
Consider Bryce Young there.
Yeah. Quarterbacks, even in Superflex, I know we're kind of talking about other stuff a little bit, but of the mindset now, even in Superflex, quarterbacks are so hit and miss.
Oh, absolutely.
You're better off just waiting. Get the running back, get the receiver, wait.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a minefield, man. So I said on my podcast about these 24/7. I mean, all these things, especially the quarterback position. It really is difficult. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's. Just look at. I mean, I don't know how many guys are really going to pan out. Like, I mean, I'm so in tune with. And Dan, how the hell did you become an Eagles fan, by the way? You're always talking birds, and you're a Jalen Hurts guy, aren't you?
Me? Oh, yeah. No, I'm a Broncos fan through and through. But I just love Jalen Hurts, man. I know. I feel like he gets a bad rap. I know. Really I'm
pulling for him. So, I mean, I listen to all the sports radio here, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, now because he had a good game, now people are softening up a little bit, thinking that, oh, well, maybe he is the guy, right? But I mean, I'm not sure. I think they're going to win 6-7 games. They're going to be probably number 10 or 12 by the time it's done. I mean, is Detroit going to take Matt Corral? I mean, are they going to go defense? I don't know. But I mean, I'm thinking Howell and
Corral, that's about it.
Corral, they're the two guys, I think, right? I mean, I think Kenny Pickett's a nice player, but I just don't trust a guy that was average for 3 years that just is balling out.
Oh, Brandon, come on, come aboard.
Hey.
Come aboard the Pickett train, man.
Well, one thing I don't get.
You guys need to get on board with me. He's going to be a first-round pick, I'm telling you.
Oh, there's no way.
No, he might. It might be early. It might be early second, but honestly, I think he has a real chance at first round. I really do. He's, kid's a baller.
Could happen.
He's a tough kid. He's got some translatable skills, but yeah, I just like him. He gets me excited,
What were you gonna say, Sam?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the one thing I don't get Jalen Hurts wise is I see some mocks with like Corral and Howell I get because they're different players. I see some mocks with Malik Willis going to the Eagles, and I'm just like he has the same strengths and same issues as Jalen Hurts pretty much.
Yeah, I don't get that one either.
if you're gonna give up on Jalen Hurts, go a different route because Malik Willis I think has the same exact issues that he has.
So here's my thing. I just don't think that any of the quarterbacks that we're talking about are going to be a big upgrade on Jalen Hurts. I really don't, man. At least, maybe they wait another year, build that defense up. Yeah, actually give the kid a chance to win some games, How the hell is he supposed to win with what you guys got going on over there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's a terrible fucking team. I mean, let's be real, right?
Yeah. Well, we have a great offensive line. I think we got pieces. It's just how we're going to use them. But, they run the ball now. So now it's play action. It's like why they put all the pressure on them to throw the ball 40 freaking times, week one, I'll never understand. Right. I mean, it's like not a formula.
And that you just hit the nail on the head, right? Now that they're running the ball, they wait till Miles Sanders goes out to start running the fucking ball. But now that they're running the ball, he's actually looking good. He's making some throws. Like they're taking the pressure off of him. So
yeah, he made some good throws this week for sure. What were you going to say, Sal?
I was going to say, is Jalen Reagor? Should I just dump my shares that I have?
Oh, dude, man. Don't get me started on him.
His body language is so bad from the minute he played. And when he gets up off the field, he's not nearly as explosive. I mean, they just whiffed on him. I mean, they talk about it all the time and Howie Roseman and how they had Justin Jefferson right in the palm of their hands and they went for speed. They got sucked into, I know exactly what happened. There was a lack of speed with Carson Wentz, the deep ball thrower. Jackson was, at the twilight of his career. They wanted that deep threat guy. They thought he was going to be the second level guy down the field to throw the ball. Instead of going for the elite route runner, they went for the speed guy and missed. And I don't think he's any good. I don't think the only way he works is if you get the ball and you manufacture space for him. But I've yet to see a route and a replay where he's actually manipulating a defender, creating space for himself and making a play and running with the football after the catch. I haven't seen one play yet.
I mean, look at Devontae Smith, right? Comes right in and he's out there getting open, making plays.
So
Reagor, they need an upgrade at wide receiver too.
Quez,
absolutely.
Quez is a great number 3, I think. Yeah. But they could use a solid guy.
Did you see that ball that dropped out of his hands?
I did. I absolutely did.
Dude, Jalen Reagor, his stats would have been even better. That was a 40-yard bomb to the end zone in his hands.
It was a beautiful, beautiful pass. That's what I mean, man. Hurts is out there. He's making some plays.
Yeah, I've
seen improvements.
We're going to do some NFL mocks on here too. So
okay.
Yeah,
we're going to change it. We're going to do all sorts of stuff. So, all right, guys, we're getting a little long in the tooth. It's over an hour. So thanks for coming on, guys, again until next week. Do we want to do another running back next week or we want to do a wide receiver?
Emmanuel Henderson yet?
Yep.
No, we haven't. How about we do him?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Because the running back year, there's like Luther Burden,
Yeah, let's stick with the running backs. I agree. Go through all these guys and
I think it's a guy. That way it's all fresh in our minds and we can, because here's what we're going to do. We're going to rank them next week. All right. We're going to do Henderson. And then we're going to rank them, what we like as far as the players out of all 4 of them. So we can go back. I have them all posted on the YouTube channel. So you can go back and look at the ones we looked at a couple of weeks ago, and then we'll come back. And after we watch him, because he's ranked pretty high on my podcast thing. I got it right here. I mean, he's number 1 right now on 24/7. But he's not anywhere near the top for rivals. So
interesting. That'll be fun. Ranking
he's
him.
He's not even in the top 10 in rivals. So not that I don't know which ones.
Rivals. So
Huh?
I stopped looking at rivals.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know which one has the better hit rate. I'm assuming it's 24/7.
I go by 24/7 and not the composite, just main 24/7, but they're all, the hit rate isn't high. So it's not
Yeah, listen to my podcast. You'll see exactly what the hit rate is for the last 4 years of running backs. It's not pretty.
We're all throwing darts, man. We're all just
that's
throwing
it.
darts.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's all for fun. All right, guys. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Until next time. Peace.
Absolutely.
See ya.
cool. Thanks.
Yep.